Yeah, viewers, we welcome you to Times Television. We are here with Anna Bailao, who is a deputy mayor, Toronto, and now running on 26th of June for mayor. And let me tell you this: that from 8th to 13th of June is advanced polling. So I think better is to, cast your vote during this advanced polling, and we go to mayor to talk about his campaign. Welcome to Times Television.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you to you, and looking forward to having a great conversation about our city and the upcoming election with all our viewers.
There are a lot of candidates, running for the same position. So, what do you think? What's your manifesto?
Well, I am running to fix services, build housing, and make life easier and more affordable, because I recognize that people are struggling out there. The biggest issue I hear from people is affordability. People are struggling because rents are going up, mortgages are going up, food is going up, the way you move around, gas, TTC, everything is going up. And I recognize that, and I want to make life easier and more affordable by fixing services at City Hall like the TTC, making sure that people feel safe and we restore the cuts that just happened so people can get to work on time and can get to home on time, making sure that we have more cameras so that, when an incident happens, that we are right there and we have the evidence, that we have more Wi-Fi, so it's even more convenient. So fixing the important services like a TTC, like our, recreational services, playgrounds, sports fields, making that accessible for our families, for our children. And then the very important issue of affordable housing. We need to make housing more affordable in this city. And I have the experience, the track record, as a city councilor for 12 years, deputy mayor for 5, but also my life experience. I'm an immigrant myself. I came to this country when I was 15 years old from a working family. So I know the sense of opportunity that we felt when we got here, right? And I want to make sure that people feel that again, that this is a city of opportunity. So our youth, our workers, our newcomers see themselves here. And that's the way that we're going to be a successful city.
Yeah, in your script, you covered almost everything, like our children's, because there's a lot of things, the drugs and things like that going on. So the parents are very much, concerned about it. That the children have playgrounds, they have different sports activities and things like that. So for that, of course, the city have a lot of responsibility on that. Yeah. So I think you have a very comprehensive plan about it, right?
We do. We have a comprehensive plan to accelerate the improvements on all these facilities, from playgrounds to sports fields. But also a part of my plan is as well that when we have a big project happening in the city, like transit, or, we're doing a new Etobicoke Community Civic Center, big projects that are happening in the city, I want to make sure that we have jobs made available for the youth in those communities, and that we have business for the small businesses in that community. That is called community benefit agreements. So the city can do an agreement as we're doing those big infrastructure projects, those big things that are happening in the city, to make sure that our youth have opportunity as well, that they have jobs, that they have apprenticeships, training, mentorship. That is very important, and that is part of my plan as well. I've worked on it as well on several projects in the city, and I want to make sure that we have that in all major projects happening in the city as well, because again, it's about creating opportunity.
What about, in downtown, there is a lot of situations also. So how you tackle all these issues?
Well, we need to make sure that first people feel safe to come on the TTC to downtown. Yeah. We also need to deal with some of the mental health issues that we see on our streets, because it's not only on the subway and on the transit system. That is actually a symptom of what is happening on this in the city. So I will have mobile mental health clinics with mental health outreach workers and nurses to outreach and to make sure that we provide the supports to people. Also by building more supportive housing so that our homeless can have the dignity of a home and come inside as well. The other thing is we need to work with our employers, our cultural organizations downtown, to make sure that people have a reason to come downtown not only to work, but to take advantage of some of the cultural organizations. So I've announced some things already. So, the Toronto Library has the Toronto Library Museums and Arts Pass that people can take to visit with their families our museums, our art galleries, and performance theaters. I'm going to make that funded with $2 million so that more and more people can also access some of those activities as well. Another thing that is very important for our downtown is to maintain and preserve and enhance the island airport.
Exactly.
Unlike other candidates, Olivia Chow has tried to close it down at every chance she gets.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to make sure that we continue to have that island airport because we need it for the tourism, we need it for the business, we need it for the recovery of the downtown as well. And since we're talking about this, what we don't need as a city is every excuse to increase taxes, which is Olivia Chow's model. What we need is somebody with the experience, like me, of working with other governments to bring the services like housing, like more funding for the TTC, more funding for our city. So, like many people say, there's only one taxpayer.
I myself travel from this city airport to Chicago because it's go downtown to downtown. Mm-hmm. It's something which is a big facility, and that's why I like to go from here. It's very important. So I definitely needs to that airport to be improved, and that's what in your manifesto also. What about the tourist? Because whoever comes to Toronto, they visit downtown, and our downtown is so beautiful. I know because I travel in US also, but the Toronto downtown is really I like. So what improvements you are thinking for the tourists, as you already mentioned? So I think there are some other things to be developed. Do you have any idea, like the museums, to improve those things like?
Well, supporting the arts and culture sector is very important, especially as we recover, because we know they attract tourists, they attract economic development, they even attract talent, right, for our business because people want to go where they have good quality of life.
Exactly.
And so support our arts and culture is very important. And having that across the city as well, and downtown is important, but I want to make sure that we have that across the city and that funded for the arts and culture happens across the city as well. But tourism, again, that's why it is so important that we have the recovery of the downtown. People feel safe to use the public transportation. People come back to the downtown to work, for the sports, for the cultural activities, and people come back as tourists as well, and having that airport is going to be very important. And I'm committed to preserving that.
You know that the taxes are going higher, the property taxes are higher, and people already have a lot of problems, especially the new generations are unable to buy the property because of the, its prices are going high. So one side is the mortgage is very expensive, and then the taxes are very expensive. So do you have any plan to, look to the taxes?
I will not increase property taxes beyond the rate of inflation.
That's very good.
Other candidates do. Olivia Chow already said, I'm gonna be ready to tax. That's what she said. She said that. I will not increase taxes beyond the rate of inflation. I want to say that again. I know people are having a hard time. Even before running, I was at my, I have a big family, lots of cousins, and we still get together around, special dates or birthdays, all the cousins get together. And that's the issue at the table, is my mom speaking to my cousin about how much more, food is costing, how much more tougher it is out there. I recognize that. And that is why I'm committing to not increasing property taxes above the rate of inflation. That is why I have the experience to work with council and the other orders of government to get the funds for the city, to fix the services, to build the housing. That's the leadership that we need at the city. That is what I'm bringing to the table.
Last thing that, as I know that you start your career as a councillor, right? No? As a councillor, then you become a deputy mayor, and then, right?
Yeah.
So you have experience working as a councillor in the ward, and then as a deputy mayor on a administrative side.
Let me share a little bit with you. You know what my first job was in Toronto?
What?
It was cleaning offices downtown.
Oh, so you know the grassroots. Right?
I know the grassroots. So I came when I was 15, and it was June, fortunately, so it was good weather. I didn't come into the snow. But in September, my mom had two jobs. So she was a seamstress during the day, and then she cleaned offices at night. And then I started with her. So every night after school, I would go from 5:30 to 9:30 to clean offices. So that was my first job.
Oh.
So, and then after a couple of years, I decided my English was good enough and I was going to work at a store. So I decided I was going to stop cleaning offices and I was going to work at a store. But for me, the importance of that, it meant I could go to university, right? For me, it was, and I had promised my grandmother that I was going to go to university. It was something she really wanted, and it's my role model, my grandmother. And so, so for me, that sense of opportunity is like, okay, I'm going to go to university. I went to university, and I worked a few years at City Hall, and then I went into the private sector, actually.
Oh, okay.
I worked in banking, I went into the private sector, and then in 2010, I was elected as city councillor. 2010, I was elected as city councillor until 2022. And when John Tory was elected in 2014, he asked me to be on his executive, and then in 2017, he asked me to be his deputy mayor. So lots of experience.
Oh, okay. Any message you want to give to the community, the South Asian community?
The message is that I need your support. I need your support because I have the experience and the leadership and the plan to make life more affordable in this city, to make life easier in this city. I understand. I know that people are dealing with affordability issues, and I want to make sure that people still feel and get this city as a city of opportunity. I'm asking for your vote on June 26th.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. Nice talking to you. You see, we talked to Anna, and what she's saying, I believe that she is the right candidate for this position because she served as a deputy mayor for last 5 years. Yeah. She knows the councillor, she knows the problem of the layman, and I think that's something that we should have to consider. And I believe that she will be the next mayor of our city of Toronto, which is a beautiful city among all other cities in the world. Thank you very much, Anna. I appreciate that.
Pleasure.